Last week, we stopped at the principles of taxation.
Okay, the principles of taxation.
Yes,
So
sir.
we have a type of taxation. We did not finish the introduction last week.
I didn't get that, sir.
Do we finish the introduction to taxation last week?
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. We treated the definition of tax, the objectives and reasons for taxation, the sources of tax laws, participation of tax. Yeah, then
Type of tax. We talk about type
yes,
of taxation. Type
yes,
of tax.
yes, yes, we did. Then
And
we
we talk about principles of taxation.
yes, exactly. That was where we stopped.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, no problem. So today, let's look at multiple taxes in Nigeria. Multiple taxes in Nigeria. Multiple taxes in Nigeria. Let's look at that. What is multiple taxes? What are the type of multiple taxes? What are the impact of multiple taxes to Nigeria business? That is what we want to look at today. First and foremost, what do we understand by multiple taxes? Multiple taxes, they are the tax regime where various or similar type of taxes are imposed on a taxpayer by different tiers of government. What does that mean? As a taxpayer, you are paying similar taxes on the same income in your hand to different tiers of government. What this one means is that federal government collect tax on income, state government collect tax on the same income, as well as local government also collect tax on the same income. That is excess tax. Multiple taxes simply means excessive tax, where different tiers of government is charging similar taxes on the same income. Multiple taxes is different from double taxation. Double taxation simply means a situation whereby you pay tax to different tax authority in different country on the same income. Double taxation, it simply means you pay tax more than once to different tax authority in different tax jurisdiction. What does that mean? Double taxation involves two or more country A and B. Country A, you earn the income in country A. They collect tax. You are a resident of country B. When you take the same income to country B tax authority asks you to pay tax. That one is double taxation. You pay tax more than once on the same income to different tax jurisdiction in different country. Tax jurisdiction means tax authority in different country. That is double taxation. But this multiple taxation, this one occurred within Nigeria. It occurs within Nigeria. You are paying similar taxes on the same income to different tiers of government. Different tiers of government means federal government, state government, and local governments. That is what multiple taxes mean. Federal government collect tax on the same income from the same taxpayer. State government collect tax again on that particular income, and local government again. That is multiple tax. It occurs within a country. It's within Nigeria when we talk about multiple tax. But when we talk about double taxation, it involves two or more countries. Hope you understand it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So now let's look at type of multiple taxes that we have in Nigeria. What are the type of multiple taxes that we have in Nigeria? Number one type of multiple taxes that we have in Nigeria is entertainment tax. Entertainment tax is a multiple tax. When you go to cinema, you want to go and watch a movie. Take for instance in Lagos State, Lagos State Censor Board will impose tax on that your ticket, as well as National Census Board, which is controlled by federal government. They are going to impose tax on that ticket. In entertainment tax, you are going to pay federal government tax on the same ticket, pay state government tax again on the same ticket. That is multiple tax. We also have road tax. Road tax. For road tax, some states, they will impose tax on commercial vehicles, as well as local governments too will impose taxes on them. They will collect another taxes from them too. That is multiple taxes. Another type of multiple taxes we have, permit for closure of streets. If you want to close a street for an event, you need to collect permit from the local government within that area. State also need to give you approval, and you are going to pay. Refuse collection taxes too is multiple taxes. Market taxes and levies too is multiple taxes. In some public markets, state government will impose ticket, daily ticket, as well as local government. So it is a multiple tax. Another type of multiple taxes we have, sales tax is multiple tax. What are the sales tax? We are talking about value-added tax. Federal government charge value-added tax on some goods and services, on some consumption of goods and services. In some states introduce another forms of tax, another forms of state tax called consumption tax. In some of the goods you purchase in a mall, shopping mall, it's going to attract sales tax as well as attracting consumption tax. When you go to an eatery to buy some food in an eatery, you pay consumption tax on it. You also pay sales tax. This happens in some states. That is an example of multiple taxes. Hope you understand. That is all the type of, those are the type of multiple taxes we have. Now, let's look at causes of multiple taxes in Nigeria. What are the causes of multiple taxes in Nigeria? Causes of multiple taxes in Nigeria. Why do we have multiple taxes in Nigeria? Number one causes of multiple taxes in Nigeria, lack of funding, particularly for most states. Some states, they don't have adequate funding. The statutory allocation given to them is not enough for them to sustain, cannot sustain them. So they have to look for a means of generating money through ICAn. By virtue of that, they will introduce some form of illegal taxes that is not approved by the law. This one too common to local governments too. Local governments too, because they are not adequately funded, they have to look for means of generating revenue that can result into multiple taxes. Taxes that have been collected by federal government or state government, local government will also impose taxes on it again, on such income. Another causes of multiple taxes we have is some state government deliberately deny their local government their revenue due to them. This one is talking about local government autonomy. Some states deny local government the revenue due to them from the federation account, which is the statutory allocation. So local government does not have autonomy to spend the revenue given to them from the statutory allocation. So as a result of this, local government have to look for somewhere else to generate revenue. By doing that, that may result into multiple taxation. So lack of tax education and awareness too. Some of the taxpayers, they are not well educated, and tax authority did not create awareness on the type of taxes they can pay. At the local government level, they will just introduce some taxes that is not stated in the law. And taxpayers, seeing their ignorance of tax law, they will embrace it. They will start paying it. So it's another causes of multiple taxes. Another causes of multiple taxes is multiplicities of revenue agency. Multiplicities of revenue agency. We have so many revenue collection agencies, especially at the state level. So all these revenue collection agencies, they will be given a target by the state government to generate revenue. As a result of that, this can result into multiple taxes. Another one is overlapping taxing rights as contained in the Constitution and the taxes and levy approved list for collection. Overlapping taxing rights. This one is common to states. States overlap the taxing rights of some of the local government. Some of the taxes that are supposed to be collected by the local government, some of them have now been hijacked and controlled by the state. Example of that, tenement rate, which is somehow related to land use charge, is now being controlled by the states. Ideally, as it was stated in the Constitution, it is local government that are supposed to collect it. Another one, advertisement permits fee. It is responsibility of local government to collect advert permit, but some states now create an agency called advertisement agency, saddled with responsibility of collecting advertisement permits. That is overlapping taxing right. Another forms of overlapping taxing right that we have is another forms of overlapping taxing right that we have is in the area of market levies. Anything that has to do with markets, it is regulated by the local government. But in some states now, they are not the one controlling the market, public market. Is overlapping taxing rights. Another causes of multiple taxes in Nigeria, manual tax administration system. The way we collect our tax system in Nigeria is not automated. It's just of recent. We have some development coming in where most of the tax authority now, they are now embracing automated tax system. Like Federal Inland Revenue now, they are now using tax promas in some state level now, they are using e-tax. But in the past, most of the tax system that we have is manual. When tax is manual, there will not be record to checkmate whether this tax has been collected by federal government or state government before. Yeah. So there's no system to checkmate it. So since we are operating a manual system, manual tax system can give room for multiple taxation. So those are the causes of multiple taxation in Nigeria. Now, the next thing is, let's look at methods of collecting multiple taxes in Nigeria. What are those methods used by state or local government in collecting multiple taxes in Nigeria? Some of them, mounting of roadblock. Some of the states, they will mount the roadblock, they will block the road, or local government, they will block the road. This one common to most of the commercial vehicles or most of the vehicle used for commercial purposes. They will mount the road to collect tax from them. Another method that can be used to collect multiple taxes is the use of revenue agents or consultants. The use of revenue agents or consultants. Revenue agents or consultants can be used to collect multiple taxes. They will give them a target for accelerated revenue generation program. That is those methods. Those are the two major methods used for multiple taxes in Nigeria. Now, let's look at impact of multiple taxes on Nigeria business. What are the impact of multiple taxes on Nigeria businesses? Impact of multiple taxes on Nigeria businesses. What impact multiple taxes have on Nigeria businesses? Number one, multiple taxes make business operation to become cumbersome, to become very cumbersome. It makes business operation to be cumbersome to operate. Very difficult to operate. Another one is multiple taxes result into high mortality rate of SME in the country. Most of the SME in the country, they will be forced to close down small enterprise because of multiple taxes. You want to use 3 million to start a business. Out of the 3 million, federal government collect 200,000 as tax. State government come to collect advert permits. You pay 120,000. Local government will come to collect shop and kiosk rate, radio and television license. At the end of the day, out of the 3 million, you have used almost 500,000 to pay taxes to both federal government, local government, and state governments. That kind of business, which is just coming up, may be forced to close down. So one of the causes why most of the SME, they are not growing in Nigeria is because of multiple taxes by different tiers of government. It's because of multiple taxes imposed by different tiers of government. So those are one of the impact of multiple taxes in Nigeria. Another impact of multiple taxes in Nigeria. Let's look at another impact of multiple taxes in Nigeria. The cost of multiple taxation reduces the size of the capital stock and aggregated output in the economy. Your capital will reduce. The capital that you want to use to invest, it's going to reduce as a result of multiple taxes. Another one is multiple taxes discourage foreign investments. Multiple taxes discourage foreign direct investment. It discourages foreign direct investment. Most of the foreigners, they will not be encouraged to come and invest in Nigeria because of multiple taxes. Because before they come to Nigeria to come and invest, they will conduct visibility study. Through the visibility study, they will have told them that in Nigeria, there are a lot of multiple taxes that you pay to different tiers of government. That one can discourage them to come and invest in Nigeria. Multiple taxes also result into loss of job creation. Most of the company, because of multiple taxes, they will try to relocate from Nigeria to the neighboring country. As a result of their relocation, their staff in Nigeria, they will ask them to go. They have to sack them, retrench them. So, because of multiple taxes, some of the big industries have started moving to the neighboring countries to go and produce. They will either import the good to Nigeria, and this lead to a high rate of unemployment. Most of the people will lose their job as a result of that. Human capital. So all these are the impact of multiple taxes to Nigeria business. All these, they are the impact of multiple taxes to Nigeria business. Now, let's look at possible solution to multiple taxes in Nigeria. What solution can be done? What solution, what recommendation can we use to reduce multiple taxes in Nigeria? Possible solution to multiple taxes in Nigeria. What are the solutions to the issue of multiple taxes in Nigeria? Number one is to review the current statutory provision in Nigeria. Reviewing the current statutory provision in Nigeria to delimit the scope of taxes and levy collected by each level of government. We need to review the Nigeria Constitution So that this Nigeria constitution will try to delimit the scope and taxes collected by each level of government. Some of those taxes stated in the constitution collected by, some of them are somehow related. As part of, for this reviewing the current statutory provision is what they are doing presently. Tax Reform Act. One of the objectives of Tax Reform Act that National Assembly is going to pass into law is that to ensure that we have a uniform or harmonized tax system, so that it's going to reduce the problem of multiple taxes. One of the primary objectives of Tax Reform Act is to address the issue of multiple taxes. We should have just little type of taxes we are collecting, like we have now. We have more than 70 different types of taxes and levies collected by both federal government, state government, and local government. Another solution, make available to the local all the revenue account, granting them autonomy. The revenue account is paid to the account, not through the state. Another one, adequate funding of various agencies and departments of the state. Most of the agencies set up by some states, they are not adequately funded. What the governor will tell them is they should go and generate revenue on their own. Why do you create an agency if you don't want to fund them? Some agencies are supposed to carry out oversight function that is so important. That agency, they will leave their primary function. What they will be after is how to generate revenue. What concerns Ministry of Environment about generating revenue? Another one is review the Constitution to address overlapping taxing rights of different tiers of government. The Constitution needs to review so that we address the issue of overlapping taxing rights. Overlapping taxing rights simply means some states overlap the taxing right of the local government. Constitution have to limit that state from doing that. Limit the state from doing that. Another one, maintaining an up-to-date database of the taxpayer in Nigeria. We need to have updated database of all the taxpayers in Nigeria. Once you have the database of all the taxpayers in Nigeria, once they have paid a particular tax to the federal government, they don't need to pay it again to the state government. Another solution to problem of multiple taxing, limit the number of revenue agencies. This one too, Tax Reform Act want to address that we should limit the number. We have too much of revenue agencies in Nigeria. Let's limit them. anything that have to do with revenue, let that be collected by only the Federal Inland Revenue at the state internal revenue service. Don't create another agency collecting revenue aside from these people starting with collection of revenue. Automated tax collection process and harmonization of taxpayer record. Our tax collection process should be automated. It should not be manual. It will address the problems of multiple taxes in Nigeria. Now, still under multiple taxes, we want to look at power to administer various taxes. What are those taxes that can be collected by each tier of government as contained in the Constitution? What are those taxes and levies, approved taxes and levies that can be collected by each tier of government as contained in the Constitution? Now, let's look at the taxes collected by federal government. Taxes and levies collected by the federal government. Company income tax, petroleum profit tax, which is now referred as hydrocarbon tax, education tax is also collected by federal government. Value added tax too is also collected by federal government. Stamp duties for body corporate is also collected by federal government. Capital gain tax for corporate bodies is also collected by federal government. And aside that, we also have customs and excise duties. Custom and excise duties also collected by federal government. Technology tax. Technology tax. Technology tax. Also collected by federal government. So all are the tax levies collected by federal government. These are the tax and levies collected by federal government. Let's look at the taxes and levies collected by state government. What are the taxes and levies collected by state government? The taxes and levies collected by state government. What are the taxes and levies collected by state government? Personal income tax, otherwise called payee. Personal income tax. Personal income tax. Otherwise called payee. For the personal income tax, it can be pay as you earn or direct assessment. Personal income tax can be pay as you earn or direct assessment. Pay as you earn Number 2, direct assessment. Pay as you earn. The personal income tax paid by those that is under paid employment that are working for company, their own personal income tax is called payee. But one-man business, self-employed, artisan, their own is called direct assessment. Direct assessment. People operating one-man business, partnership, self-employed, artisan, professional, their own personal income tax is called direct assessment. Another taxes and levies collected by state government. Withholding tax on individual transaction. Withholding tax on individual transaction is also collected by federal government, state governments. Capital gain on individual transactions too, also collected by state governments. Stamp duties executed by individual is also collected by state governments. Business premises registration is also collected by state government. How much is business premises? For a new company, they pay 10,000. While for an existing company, they pay 5,000. Development levy is also collected by state government. Development levy is paid per head. In a company, if you have 20 staff, you are going to pay development levy 100 naira per staff. Naming of street registration fee in state capital. Where the state capital located, if you want to register for naming of street, it is state government that do that, not local government. Certificate of occupancy on land is also collected by state government, not federal government. So all these are the taxes collected by state government. State government also collects lotteries, gaming and casino taxes. Pool betting, lottery, gaming and casino taxes. Some state governments also collect road taxes from commercial vehicles. Now, aside that, let's look at taxes and levies collected by local governments. What are the taxes and levies collected by local governments? Shop and kiosk rates is collected by local governments. Shop and kiosk rates is collected by local governments. Tenement rates. Tenement rates is also collected by who? Local government. Marriage, birth, and death registration fee is also collected by local government. Slaughter slab fee is also collected by local government. Street naming fee is also collected by local government. Motor park fee is also collected by local government. Tricycle, bicycle, motorcycle, wheelbarrow license is also collected by local government. Radio and television license is also collected by local government. Religious place establishment permit fee is also collected by local government. Signboard and advertisement permit fee is also collected by local government. So these are the taxes and levies collected by local government. So this is what we need to talk and discuss on multiple taxes in Nigeria. Any question on this? Any issue on this? Any question? Any issue? So, in the absence of no question, we will now proceed further to look at a topic called tax identification number and tax clearance certificates. Tax identification number and tax clearance certificate. Tax identification number and tax clearance certificate. We will look at that. That is our next topic. Let's look at that. What is tax identification number? We start with there. We start with tax identification number. What do we understand by tax identification number? Tax identification number is a unique 9-digit number allocated to taxpayer. It is a unique 9-digit number allocated to taxpayer with a view to identify an individual, businesses, or any other entity in tax return and other document filed with tax authority. Tax identification number is a unique number given to taxpayer by the tax authority in order to identify them and to serve as an evidence of tax registration that this company or this individual, they have registered for tax. In line with the Company Income Tax Act, a new company within 6 months from commencement of business, they are expected to register for tax. When they want to go and register for tax, they need to, once they have registered for tax, tax authority will issue them what is called tax identification number. For an individual like me and you, if you want to go and register with our State Board of Internal Revenue Service, they will give us what is called taxpayer ID. Our own tax identification number is called taxpayer ID. So, what is the objective of tax identification number? Why does tax authority give out tax identification number? Number one, creating close linkages between tax authority in Nigeria. It will bring linkages between tax authority in Nigeria. Another one, aiding cooperation and information sharing among tax authorities. Take for instance now, the taxpayer ID that you have in Lagos State, if you go to Ogun State, you can start using it if you send it to Ogun State government. Because that taxpayer ID is being controlled and issued by joint tax board. With your Lagos State taxpayer ID, Ogun State can look at your tax history. So it aids cooperation and information sharing among tax authority. Another one, increasing revenue generation accrue to all tiers of government. When you are giving tax identification number, it will make you to be paying tax on time. Since you know that you have tax identification number, you will be panic as a company or as an individual that tax authority will be after me if I don't pay tax. So by virtue of that, it will increase tax revenue. Requirements for TIN registration with FRS. If you want to register with FRS for TIN registration, you want to collect tax identification number as a company, you want to collect it from FRS. What are the requirements? Number one, the name of the company. The register office of the company. The type of business the company will engage in. A copy of certified true copy of memorandum and article of association. The name and address of the directors of the company. The name and address of the company bankers, auditors. A copy of certificate of incorporation of the company. The date of commencement of the business of the company. The accounting year end of the companies too will be needed. All these are the requirements for registration for tax with FRS. These are the requirements for registration for tax with what? FRS. What are those transactions for which tax identification number is required? What are those transactions for which tax identification number is required? What are those transactions for which tax identification number is required? What are those transactions if you want to do either with individual or with company or with government? They will ask you, go and provide your tax identification number. Number one, open of corporate bank accounts. You want to open corporate bank accounts. They will ask you, please provide your tax identification number. No bank can open account for you now as a company without your TIN number. It's one of the compulsory. This one too, very soon, it will be extended to the individuals too. If the Tax Reform Act is signed into law, as an individual, if you want to open a tax bank account, bank will ask you to go and bring your taxpayer ID. All transactions with other companies on invoice, statement, and return, they will also ask you for your tax identification number. All correspondence with ministry, other government agencies, they will also need your tax identification number. All correspondence with FRS on return audited account, they will also need your tax identification number. Importation of goods for the purpose of payment of custom duty and other duties. If you want to pay custom duties, it is as a company, it is through your tax identification number custom can process your payment. You cannot make payment to custom without your tax identification number. Obtaining receipt for tax payment. You want to pay for tax. You cannot make a payment for tax without having TIN number. Application for tax clearance certificate. You want to collect tax clearance certificate. You cannot collect tax clearance certificate without register for tax. Once you register for tax, it is when you will be given tax clearance and tax identification number, and you make payment of tax, and you can now request for your tax clearance certificate. Bidding for government contract. You want to bid for government contract, you must provide your evidence of tax registration, which is tax identification number. Now we have done with tax identification number. The next area we need to go to is concept of tax clearance certificate. Concept of what? Tax clearance certificate. What is tax clearance certificate? Tax clearance certificate is a document issued by the Federal Inland Revenue Service in respect of company and State Board of Internal Revenue in respect of individual, showing that the applicant tax affairs are in order. Tax clearance certificate is a document that normally given by tax authority. It can be given by FRS to company or by state SRS to individual, showing that taxpayer have complied with all rules and regulations relating to tax. That taxpayer has paid all his outstanding tax as at when due. It's no more owing tax. That taxpayer is a good taxpayer. It's not a tax defaulter. And this tax clearance certificate, it will show the tax payment made by the taxpayer in the last 3 years. So tax clearance certificate normally show the tax affair for the last 3 years, that this taxpayer, it has complied with the tax law. He has paid all the relevant taxes and levy for the last 3 years. Now, let's look at content of tax clearance certificate. Content of tax clearance certificate for a company. If a company wants to apply for tax clearance, what are the content of tax clearance certificate that must be in the tax clearance certificate? The name of the company, the address of the company, and taxpayer identification number of the company. That means the name of the company must be stated in the tax clearance certificate, the address of the company, and the TIN number of the company must also be stated in the tax clearance certificate. The total profit or chargeable income must also be stated as part of the content of tax clearance certificate. The tax payable, the tax that the company is supposed to pay, the tax paid, the tax the company has paid, the tax outstanding, if any. Sometimes company may not fully pay their tax before they're giving tax clearance certificate. The company may sign an undertaking that this tax outstanding, I'm going to pay you so date. Please, I need the tax clearance certificate for a job. Give me. If you're a good taxpayer and you have a good record with tax authority, they may grant you that tax clearance certificate. The nature of business is part of the content. The type of assessment is part of the content. The expiring date of the tax clearance certificate. That tax clearance certificate normally valid for 1 year from January to December. As at 31st of December of every year, that tax clearance certificate will expire. Another one, the source of income. Source of income. Source of income of the company will also be stated in the tax clearance certificate. Why the last one? The last one, the name and designation of authorizing officer. Somebody has to approve that tax clearance certificate in the tax office. It can be the tax controller. So the name and designation of the authorizing tax official will be stated in the tax clearance certificate. Now, content condition for granting tax clearance certificate. What are the conditions for granting tax clearance certificate? If FRS want to give out tax clearance certificate, what are the conditions for granting it? Number one condition is tax have been paid up to date. Tax have been paid up to what? Up to date. Penalties and interest rates have been paid. In case you are giving penalties and interest for late payment of tax or late filing of tax return, you have to pay that before you are giving tax clearance certificate. Another one, return have been filed up to date. You must have filed your return up to date. There is no outstanding tax query, audit and investigation. You don't have any outstanding tax query or audit with tax authority. You have complied with all the tax regulations. Those are the conditions before they can release your tax clearance certificate. Now, what are those transactions required that will require tax clearance certificate? What are those transactions if you want to do that they will require your tax clearance certificate? Number one, application for approval of building plan. You have a land you want to build, especially in Lagos State, you want to build, you have to collect building plan. For Lagos State to give you a building plan, you must show your tax clearance certificate as an individual. If you are a company, you must show your tax clearance certificate. Application for firearms license. You want to collect firearms license too. You must show your tax clearance certificate. Application for government loan. You want to collect government loan. You must provide your tax clearance certificate. Application for trade license. You want to collect trade license. You must provide your tax clearance certificate. Application for certificate of occupancy. You must provide your tax clearance certificate, CFO. Application for foreign exchange reserve, you must provide your tax clearance certificate. Application for import or export license, you must provide your tax clearance certificate. Appointment or election into public office, you must provide your tax clearance certificate. All these are the transactions that will be needed for tax clearance certificate. That is for company. As an individual, if you want to collect your tax clearance certificate, what are those transactions that they will need your tax clearance certificate for as an individual? You want to pay school fees for your children in abroad and you need dollar. You want to buy dollar at official rate, school fees payment. They will ask you, go and bring your tax clearance certificate. Payment for upkeeping. You have children in abroad, you want to send upkeeping money. You provide your tax clearance certificate. Medical bill payment. You want to pay medical bill in abroad. You provide your tax clearance certificate since you are seeking for dollar. Personal traveling allowance. You want to buy dollar because you are traveling for personal travel. You provide your tax clearance certificate. Business traveling allowance. You are going on a business trip and you need foreign currency. You provide your tax clearance certificate. So all these are the transactions that will be needed for tax clearance certificates. What are the problems of obtaining tax clearance certificates? One of the problems that we face while requesting for tax clearance certificate as a taxpayer is tax clearance certificate can result into additional assessment and demand for payment before the issue of tax clearance certificate. If you request for tax clearance certificate as a company or as an individual, tax authority, they will scrutinize your record. You request for tax clearance certificate. Before they can give you that tax clearance certificate, they will scrutinize your record. Once they scrutinize your records, if there is any additional assessment as a result of scrutinization, you will pay that additional assessment before tax clearance certificate can be issued to you. Again, another problem, tax clearance certificate take a longer period before it can be issued. You need a contract. You want to collect a contract, and that contract is urgent. When they say go and bring your tax clearance certificate, sometimes it may take you a whole month before you can be given that tax clearance certificate. Another one is tax clearance certificates. Sometimes some tax authority, some official of tax authority, before, if you go and approach them for tax clearance certificate, they will ask you to make payment, and they know that you have not paid your tax up to date. They will give you forged tax clearance certificates, forgery of tax clearance certificate. And when you now present it when you need it, if they want to go and authenticate it, you will now discover it's a forgery tax clearance certificate. Issuance of forgery tax clearance certificate by tax official is another problem of challenges experienced while processing tax clearance certificates. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is all what we have today. So, any issue, any query, any question,